it's GC here, and we are back for a movie review.
Wolf Warrior, welcome to Africa.
Wolf Warrior 2. So this is a 2017 Chinese action film directed by Wu Jing, who also starred in the lead role. He also wrote this and also directed and starred and wrote the first Wolf Warrior back in 2015. This is a huge film if you've never heard of it, but basically skimming through Wikipedia, it is the first movie right now. It is the highest grossing film in China in the box office, and a second highest grossing film of all time in a single market, behind only Star Wars The Force Awakens, and has exceeded North American totals from Avatar, Black Panther, and Titanic. The seventh highest grossing film of 2017 at $874 million US, making it the 54th highest grossing film worldwide. Is the first and only Chinese film ever to be included in a list of 100 all-time highest grossing films worldwide, and making it the highest grossing non-English film of all time. And it was selected as a Chinese entry for the best foreign language film at the 90th Academy Awards. So it made it a lot of money. And yeah, so what's it about? Well, basically it's about a loose cannon Chinese soldier who takes on special missions around the world. And I think the first one was just a mission, and then this one he finds himself in an African country. I don't know if they named it. Wasn't really paying attention. And protecting medical aid workers from local rebels and vicious arms dealers. So in terms of casting, we have Wu Jing, and someone else you might know is Frank Grillo, the guy that's in Captain America: Winter Soldier and Wheelman on Netflix. And everyone else, check down below. So what's this movie about? Well, basically, I said it already. He's like a soldier coming back from the first Wolf Warrior, and then he goes off and help people, or no, something happens. Oh yeah, there was a controversy. He gets thrown into jail, and then he leaves and he moves somewhere in Africa, and then he restarts his life there. And then because of rebels of his civil war, he's forced to leave, and then his African godson was like, you need to save my mom. And then at the same time, there's this really high valued doctor, and he goes off to save him while saving his godson's mom. And then he bumps into Celina Jade, a doctor who assists in that camp, and they run off, and there's a virus happening, and for some reason the daughter has special blood or whatever. And he goes off and he just fights off rebels, and then he tries to save the Chinese people, but at the same time save the locals at the same time. Whereas the Chinese people themselves are like, no, leave the locals, we gotta leave. The Navy will save us. The locals can fend for themselves type of vibe. And things get pretty intense in terms of just how serious. No, not how serious, but how much firepower is thrown at them. And that's basically the entire film. So what did I think? Well, first off, the fight sequences, for some reason, is much more impressive in the first half of the movie than the last. And it's just strange, because that first fight sequence underwater, wow, that was some pretty crazy choreo and really impressive. Really impressive. And then you got the hand-to-hand combat stuff, that's alright. And then you got the shootings, and the shooting choreo, I think it would be the weakest in terms of not very inspiring, and you can clearly see the YouTube effects or blood splatter effects, and it just pulls you off the immersion. There's some tank scenes in here that just, they got real tanks, so props on them, but just wasn't very compelling. And yeah, just, I don't know, they threw a lot of money in explosions, so from time to time I'd be like, did they run out of money? That's why, the scenes are so boring and not creative, and then boom, 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 and I was like, oh, right, that's where all the money went. I mean, granted, Frank Grillo's in this in terms of just non-Chinese fame. He doesn't really add too much to it. We have a lot of angry local rebels and local people, and their acting at times just feel way like overact. But I guess I sort of expected that. I mean, seeing that this film is the highest grossing since 2017 is like, whoa, pretty impressive in terms of money. And I don't know, like the fact that he directed this, wrote this, and produced this, real great props. The fact that he could do all that stuff. But I just felt that he like Wu Jing, sorry, I was talking about Wu Jing, in terms of just that, his strength lies in martial arts. And I felt that like this movie pulled back a lot from that and added in way more tech, a lot of shootouts, and the shootouts were just, like I was saying, uninspiring and just really plain and boring. And just the fight sequences, I feel like could have been a lot better. And it's just too bad that it looked really cool and all that in the beginning of the film, but then later on it just felt really boring. I mean, in terms of story, as a non-mainland audience, you don't really care too much. I think it's sort of like Operation Red Sea, where it doesn't really matter what it's about, but yet they try to really go for the whole Chinese versus local vibe, as in like all lives matter, and no, not all lives matter, we just need to save ourselves, like the Chinese are better type of vibe. And it's just awkward. I mean, granted, if I like switch this out with like an American actor and the whole movie was the same, it would feel very like, US saved the world. And here it doesn't have that China saves the world vibe, but it's just, I don't know, like I think just the acting itself and the writing, like if you look really into it, there's not much there. And you could say, well, that's your fault for even like looking. And I don't know, like, because I'm watching a movie and it was way too long. It's like 121 minutes. Definitely it would have been 90 minutes. That would have been way better. In terms of like the climax, for sure, because it just felt like, oh, they fought wave after wave after wave, and it's just like, holy crap, these people keep coming. And then you have this tank battle, and you're like, holy crap, they figured it out. And then you have like the Armada showing up or something, and then he gets like that slaughter at the end was really awkwardly blocked and shot. And just the writing itself was just like, I'm sympathetic for this cause. Like they're just literally running out in the open and getting shot and killed and all that. So I mean, story-wise, there's nothing there for me, and I don't care in that regard. But I just felt that the fighting, the shootout choreo, the tank battle could have definitely have much higher degree of just like betterness. I don't know how would I state it. Just like more smooth, more just inspiring. But it just felt very clunky and just like, we're doing this for the sake of doing it vibe. And that's just too bad. I mean, humor is there once in a while. At the power plant place that they're at, we have this rich kid and then like a ex-army guy. That was a cool thing. Wu Jing's character and the ex-army guy, like that, the camaraderie, that was cool. Like when they salute each other and sort of like stated their rank and like which like platoon or squad they were from or whatever. That was cool, but just, I don't know, a lot of the dialogue here was really weak. I mean, actually, I take back. Frank Grillo and that rebel leader guys, they were fine. Their English was fine. But then for some reason, all like the thugs, like the huge Jack guy, really awkward. And I don't know what vibe they were trying to go for when they set up all these like personalities and these thuggish levels, and then they don't really do anything. So I think there's a lot of things happening, but no actual substance. And I think like that rich kid at the plant was just like, I have so many guns, but he's like totally untrained and all that. That was like, oh, whatever. The whole virus thing was also kind of weird. Like, why was it needed? Like, did it make him more vulnerable? Oh, I cut myself, but it's okay. I lied in the pile of bodies that had the virus, but I'm okay. And then the woman's like, no, you're not okay. Like, we gotta find you a cure. And then all of a sudden he gets sick, but I didn't really get that like subplot. And just like, why was it needed? Like, did it prove that women were like was that their like sort of like pity like, oh, let's make the woman sort of important. Like, it was so poorly written in that sense. Sort of wish it was like much more legitimate and organic of like, no, she's a doctor, so believe what she's saying because she has the credentials and she knows what she's doing, but rather, no, cut myself, dead body, no problem. It's very macho, and it was just like, ugh, didn't need that. And yeah, I mean, overall, it was a long movie. I couldn't really watch it in one sitting. I think I did multiples. I did it while exercising. It was just a chore to get through. But I'm doing it for you guys, in the sense of just like gonna go through that top 10 box office smash to see what is the mainland's taste buds for movies. And I will come back later. Anyways, keep watching, keep liking, and remember to subscribe and share. Always share. Sharing is caring. Anyway, that's it for this movie review for Wolf Warrior 2. Out.